Are you seeing what I'm seeing? It looks like Bill Maher is done pretending support for the Democrats, and that was most reflected a couple of weeks ago when he grilled Mark Cuban over downplaying the leftist threat to free speech. And the core issue this time? Well, it was that Mark Cuban's billionaire counterpart on the other side with Elon Musk. Take a look at the criticism that led up to that moment before Bill realized what was going too far.
Here's the guy who I think epitomizes the good, the bad, everything in between, and just it's sort of a microcosm of America, is Elon Musk. Because this week, he had an amazing week. He caught, this is from Politico, he pulled off an engineering marvel where he launched the largest, most powerful rocket in the world, and on the first try, caught the 23-story tall booster that brings it up in midair with using chopstick-like mechanical arms. We made a little video called Elon Musk's Week that encapsulates this. Would you show it? It'll just take a few seconds. Look at that.
That's insane.
Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And then
this. That's insane too.
And then
that's just as insane.
Same guy. Yeah. That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is that that's the same guy. This is such a game changer with exploring the stars with the rocket. But he also, I mean, the tweets. I mean, FEMA used its budget ferrying illegals into the country instead of saving American lives. Treason. That's the same guy. He also said, tweeted, Mark Cuban and Rachel Maddow are the same person. Don't believe.
Oh my God. He just goes to show you could be one of the world's greatest entrepreneurs, literally of the last century, and be a troll at the same time.
Right.
Isn't that what makes Elon Musk the most exciting billionaire to begin with? But even apart from that, it's interesting that Bill Maher would quote that tweet from him as if it's laughably ridiculous, when this was part of a genuine political debate around the use of FEMA funds, when the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, announced that FEMA does not have enough funds to deal with hurricane relief efforts. And that's what sparked the debate around where those funds went. But while you can disagree with that, you can't say that Elon Musk's behavior on his own social media, especially a platform he literally owns, is not far within the purview of his rights to free speech. I think this is the line that Bill Maher understood at the back of his mind, while his guests here apparently didn't. Elon Musk is a mad genius, and that means you'll get both the mad and the genius from him in a whole package. Using one to downplay the other is where someone like Mark Cuban and Joe Scarsborough here started to go too far. By the way, do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because we expose those attempts at censorship where they arise. And it was satisfying to see Bill Maher prevent his guests from flying off the handle by making them realize how damaging this political hyperpartisanship can be to America using this important event.
Here's where the rubber meets the road, because this is important. He wanted to, this week, he's suing the 12-member commission, the California Coastal Commission. He launches his rockets from Vandenberg Space Force Base. We used to call it Air Force Base, but I guess now we're into Space Force time. He wanted the proposal to expand the number of launches. Okay, again, one of the most impressive companies, an American company. He wants a little more, give it to him. No. The commission, some bureaucrat, said, nope, and this is the reason why. Commissioner Carol Hart saying, we're dealing with a company, the head of which has aggressively injected himself into the presidential race and made it clear what his point of view is. Yes, because he lives in America, and he can do that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with this, and, you know, the right thinks that the left is in a very different place with free speech than they have been before, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This is arrogant. You don't punish somebody. It would be like if we stopped Henry Ford from making the cars because we didn't like what
but can you take one anecdotal example? One idiot, right? Truly an idiot to stop.
This is not an idiot. This is someone with power.
I'm honestly surprised this wasn't a bigger scandal because it certainly should have been covered more in the mainstream media. It was the most clear-cut example of a state agency like the California Coastal Commission refusing to cooperate by explicitly listing someone's political beliefs. Yes, that's what happened while Elon Musk wanted to expand his annual launch schedule from California's coastline. And you know what? Perhaps that speaks to the blinders that a lot of the top brass in these governmental agencies have put on. It's because they could have just as easily refused this expansion for SpaceX, citing environmental concerns, and yet they shot themselves in the foot by making it about petty politics instead. Elon Musk is now taking the agency to court alleging a violation of his First Amendment rights. The lawsuit claims that, quote, the commission is engaged in naked political discrimination against SpaceX in violation of the rights of free speech and due process enshrined in the First and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution. What's worse is that this is not even the first time that a far-left governed state like California has tried to rein in Elon Musk's businesses in the state for political reasons. If you trace it through his long history of animosity with Governor Gavin Newsom, it gives you a greater context for why even Elon Musk's other companies like Tesla have been forced to move their headquarters to other states like Florida and Texas. But every time it's the state of California that is the net loser when groundbreaking companies like Tesla and SpaceX shift elsewhere, and that's at least one thing that Mark Cuban knows.
He'll just move more of his production and more of his launches somewhere else, to Florida or to Texas, wherever.
Exactly.
I mean, they'll learn the hard way.
But it's just the attitude that I find scary, that they're far too willing to stifle freedoms, including speech, for the sake of safety or misinformation, sometimes, which is coming from everybody. It's, no one has a monopoly on it. Or just power.
You're saying nobody
it's just
has
power.
a monopoly on it. Come on. That's some moral relativism right there.
I said nobody has a monopoly.
You said nobody has a monopoly on it, but that's like saying nobody has a monopoly on being a billionaire. He's got that monopoly up here. I mean, he's got more money than us. A lot more money than us. So,
I don't get the analogy.
You don't get it?
I don't know what point you're making.
You're saying it's both sides, isn't it?
Well,
there is no doubt.
There's no misinformation.
There's some disinformation from the left, but comparing it to what Donald Trump spews out every day, every week, comparing it to what Elon Musk is spewing out, unfortunately, on X, you sound like Brett Stevens now, with all due respect. It's a joke. That's a real time.
And you sound like him, who looks like Rachel Maddow.
You understand what I'm saying?
I've never argued with that. I've never argued of the false equivalency. I just said there is misinformation from both sides. I lived through COVID. Don't tell me there wasn't misinformation.
But there's a difference between...
I lived through stupid policies based on bad information and stifled information.
But intent matters.
That's what Zuckerberg said. He said they were forcing us not to put out...
But intent matters, right? Even back then, they were trying to save lives, even if they did it the wrong way. But here with this lady, there's no good intent. She's just trying to prove her point. If you get it wrong, trying to do the right thing...
Is that really what Joe Scarborough implied there? That the right in this country has a monopoly on misinfo? It's incredible that literally in the same conversation they're talking about extreme political partisanship, harming the country at large, that Joe would disagree with the most important starting point of that conversation. And I think that's what made Bill Maher realize the kind of panel that he had on. Bill has mostly been disenfranchised with the modern Democratic Party and what it has become, to the point that he is hardly even identifying with what it stands for. And while he still hesitantly votes for the party because he said he could never be a Republican, that's still a confusing place to be, a political arena where everyone expects you to stand solidly on one side of the line or the other. Perhaps that's because Bill Maher has been amassing such a large percentage of the centrist and independent audience in America after realizing the left has gone too far.
Let's get this straight. It's not me who's changed. It's the left, who is now made up of a small contingent who've gone mental and a large contingent who refuse to call them out for it. But I will. That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days. Which shows just how much liberals have their head up their ass, because if they really thought about it, they would have made me a hero on their media. But that can't happen in this ridiculous new era of mind-numbing partisanship, where if I keep it real about the nonsense in the Democratic Party, it makes me an instant hero to Republicans.
It's moments like this that make you respect Bill Maher even more, even if you don't agree with him. And I feel like that's a perfect example for businessmen or media personalities on the left like Mark Cuban and Joe Scarborough, because they happen to find themselves in a similar position of power as their counterparts on the right. But let me know in the comments how you saw this entire exchange, because I think it's a window into how blind political allegiance can make you also overlook how your own side is often just a mirror image of what you criticize.